All right. Well, hey guys, it is Thursday, time for you on March 23rd, and really loving. Are you guys liking this new, more interactive format? I mean, those of you guys have been coming to Time for You on a regular basis. We've been doing this unmuted, but really wanted to kind of expand it and really kind of have a focused energy with also the ability to just come with your questions or, whatever is working, not working, etc. So did anybody come with something specific on your mind today? And it could be even relative to the topic we're going to go over on managing your energy.
I think getting the biggest bang for my buck with my action steps. I know I was just talking to you just a little bit ago, but I feel like I'm doing things and doing the things and I'm not quite seeing the reaction to my action. So that's a little bit like, so anybody doing anything that's, you're like, wow, this is really working. Really?
Bueller.
I don't have anything. I'd help you if I did.
Cricket.
Well, what if we reframed it? Okay, so for those that have been coaching for a while, right? We're going to go through seasons. This is not a business that everything just that the floodgates are open at all times. Everything's going great. I'm sponsoring, I'm this, I'm that. Everybody's becoming senior coach. Like, it doesn't happen that way. So for those that have been coaching for a while, how do you navigate your energy during that seasons? Because what I'm hearing you say, Debbie, this is more about an unmet expectation. Like, I'm doing the work, but it's not happening at the pace that I would like it to.
This is being too much in my head and thinking for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So when I do this should happen. And this is being a type A person. And I know I need to not be that way and just kind of be like, just putting good vibes out into the world and watching them come back as they come. And I know that. But I don't know, I just have the desire to do a thing and watch the response from it. And it's not how this works.
I have a desire to do the thing, right? So I grow a garden every year and I love okra, and I planted it before we left for spring break, and we came back 5 days later and guess what? I don't have okra yet. And that's just how it works. And okra takes a really long time, like I think 56 days or something before you're even supposed to see anything. But that doesn't mean I just dug it all out of the ground and threw it away when I got home and said, well, heck with it, I have no okra. And so I think, from coaching for 2 years, I would say the same thing, right? Like when you feel like you're in a drought, you're not really, like, you're just planting seeds. You're living authentically. You're letting people see this is real. And then when they're ready, they're going to step forward. And I also kind of feel like way back when I was dating, it was almost like if I pushed myself on a guy, it was like he almost repelled a little more, but then it was like he who cared the least. And suddenly it was like, oh, look at her. I kind of feel like it's the same thing. Like they almost get a vibe, like we're trying to jump on them or give them too much information. But when it's just kind of like you step back a little bit and breathe, just know you're doing the right things, because the people who are telling us what to do have experience and they have success. And so we just follow those things and I think it'll come. Right. And so like Dee said, we ebb and flow all the time in our business. And so right now it feels like this for your ebb and your flow, but it's not really. It's because this is about to probably happen, but you have to kind of just keep doing the work. And I would just go back to the okra. Like if I dug it all out when I came home because it wasn't there, I'm definitely not getting okra. But the chance that it's gonna be there in a couple months is probably true.
Beautiful. That was a wonderful response. Go, Jennifer.
I think Vicki had something to say, and I think Shauna, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I was gonna say that was a great visual with the okra, but it's so funny because I think it like parallels like that client that says, I measured everything. I did 5 and 1 and I fell flat this week in terms of my weight loss. And we know if they truly did what they did, that probably in week 2, they're going to get the drop. It's just the calm before the storm. And I also just think, we're dealing with, a decision to change some habits. And that's not something that people take lightly. I think there just has to be some thought. And I empathize because I'm right there with you. I think one of the things I have a hard time going back to people that have said no or no, not now, making sure that I go back to those people, because sometimes honestly I forget about them because my systems aren't great. I'm working on that. Dee will tell me I'm working on that. But but to go back and revamp, maybe retill the soil. Let's stick with the
Yeah.
okra thing, right? Retill the soil to see if maybe the seed begins to germinate. Because everybody else is in a different space. I always think about like, if you're going to buy like between two different cars and they're kind of equal and you don't know which one, like the cars guy, the dealership that doesn't follow up with you versus the other one that does, might be sort of the, there's that customer service. So that's just another thought.
Good.
So I think Jennifer's my soul sister because everything she said I was going to say, but I tend to be more chill. And so I think if you can get to that mindset where it's not me, it's not all about me, it's you, it's them, they're not ready, they don't see it, they're not, and I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And as long as my mentorship says, yeah, you're doing the right thing and there's no red flags. If you can just get that vibe of just chill, because the more you focus on you and your feelings and you're thinking it's all about you, like Jennifer said, it's gonna come across big
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
I'm
So
not
the
a
memory
type A
you just-
personality, obviously.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, you just gave me a memory of when I was I guess I was like 16 in California. I was hanging out with one of my friends and we were in her backyard and we were just laying out in the sun like idiots. And she said, why are you type A? Just be like me, be type B. And I was like, girl, okay. I wish I could just click, okay, yes, no, I'm type B. But I will try. I will learn to behave like I'm type B.
Love that.
Well, and then we talk about managing our energy. A big risk in this business is comparison. And I've had a few conversations with people this week. And so but at the end of the day, Vicki, I know you and I talked about it. Like, we see this like, oh my God, I only need one more client to get the bonus. I earned it, and look at all these people getting the bonus and what's wrong with me. But at the, or this one just added 3 coaches and I haven't added any, but at the end of the day, this is a business about relationships, teeing people up, and then, getting them on the fence. And then they're not going to necessarily fall over because your peer just added another coach and you think you should have one too, right? Like if they're not ready yet, they're not ready yet. Or your clients, like if they're not ready yet, they're not ready yet. So the key is to have enough people on the fence, right? Like, if we're just relying on these 2 people, well, that's just evidence we need to be talking, what's missing. I need to be talking to some more people and not relying so much on that. But, comparison, it either makes you feel better than somebody else, or it makes you feel worse than, you know what I mean? There's nothing healthy about it on either side. So it really comes back to what we talked about on Monday night with getting alignment, right? And just knowing, why are you doing this? What is your ultimate desire? What is it you really want? And then when you're in alignment here, that, like Jennifer said, that's going to come out because you're coming from the place of authenticity, that it matters, right? That you're doing this for the right reason. And you don't want them to just come for you.
Can I hop in here real quick?
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
So Jennifer, you were we're soul brothers and sisters or whatever that was Shauna just said, but you were saying my thoughts too, but in comparison is one of my biggest things that I battle with. Even last night I was on that Dr. Ray Coach Business call, and the very first speaker was Frank and Natalie. Of course, they stuck out to me. That's my name, right? And he introduces them, and they're young and they're IPDs. And the first thing I turned to Shauna with, and I said, oh my gosh, they're so young. Why are they IPDs and we're not? That was my first thought. It's not like I'm eager to listen. I can't wait to get this information. My first thought was comparison. Why are they young? Well, they got nothing over us. Why are they IPDs and we're not? What are they doing different? Who are their friends? I clicked my mouse in my hand motions. So, but one of the thoughts I come back to, and Jennifer, this is where it kind of comes to you instead of okra. Y'all ever seen that thing? And I don't know if it's real or not. It's a stick. It kind of looks like a Y, and people hold it like this and they try to find water. You might have seen it on an old Andy Griffith show or something. I don't remember what that stick is called, but they walk through a
Dowsing
field and they're
rod.
trying to, what?
Dowsing
Divining rod.
Or
Yeah,
divining rod.
Divining rod, yes.
And people that believe in it claim it works, and it may work. I don't know. But imagine if somebody gave me a divining rod, told me to walk through that field to find a well, and whether I believed it or not, and that once that stick, I guess, points down, there's the well. But I don't know how far I've got to dig to get to that water. Somebody who's done it and who believes in it tells me there's water down there. All I have to do is just keep digging and keep digging and keep digging. And I might dig 100 feet. I'm like, I'm exhausted. And I might look around at everybody else and their stick is working and they only dug 10 feet or 15 feet or 20 feet. Why do I got to dig 100? I still haven't hit water. So those are kind of the thoughts in my head. I might need to dig 20 feet. But the guy who believes, the guy who knows it works and has done it with thousands of people with that rod knows that if I keep digging, I'll eventually hit that water because that's where the stick was pointing. So, I mean, I'm not perfect. I deal with these same comparison struggles, and why not me? And why are our coaches not doing anything? And why are our clients not doing anything? But it's just, I just got to keep digging.
That was a great analogy too.
Yeah, there's a picture Dan Bell shared one time. If I can find it, I'll post it on our Facebook page, but it's like there's a top and a bottom picture, and they have a chisel and they're like, I guess, mining for diamonds. I don't really know anything about mining. And one guy, like, you can see as the viewer that the diamonds are right there, but he's like done, right? And he just turns around and walks off. But the guy below him just keeps chiseling, and then he hits it. And it's like, as the guy turns around to leave, it looks like if he had just hit maybe like 3 more times, right, he was going to be there, but he just gave up. And so I think this is all good information, but I think the other thing, like, I'm very A-type. And so when we're in that, like, here's where your numbers are on the 20th of the month, and if you do this, then this is going to happen, right? And like, that makes an A-typer like very goal oriented, which is awesome, but it also makes an A-typer make it all about them. Like, I have to now go get 2 more clients. I have to now go like change my frontline volume to this. And it's not about you anymore. And so, like, it's good to have goals, but there's some kind of balance about like just sharing your heart and what this is really about and how it changed your world and why you want to change someone else's. And so I think we have to breathe and just go back to that.
Jennifer, I love that. I love that. I can find myself in a tailspin when I see Eddie's report and I'm like, oh, so, but reminding myself, okay, this isn't about me. This is about reaching out to the one who is praying for a solution, right? Who is in pain right now. The more I can connect to my heart and that other person's heart, the better it feels. Wanted to share a couple of things that I learned this weekend. I spent a bunch of time with Tony Robbins, who's like amazing. But he shared a lot of things that I think could help us in our coaching. And one of the things that he shared is you won't do what you should do. You will do what you must do. And I think I have a lot of clients that are like, yeah, I should get back on 5 and 1, right? That like should. And they're never going to do it, right? Because it's not what they must do. And so he took it a step further and he said, people are motivated when they have pain in their past, their present, and their future. And the challenge with Optavia is it works so stinking well. All of our old clients that gained weight back or whatever, they're kind of on plan. It's so easy for them to get out of the pain in the future because they know they've got the golden ticket that'll work tomorrow or next Monday or a week from whenever, right? But before long, they have 6 months of Mondays or 5 years of Mondays, right? And they don't find success. So what I've been challenging my clients in that situation this week is trying to conjure up the pain in their tomorrow if they don't do anything about it today. Does that make sense? So I'm having them close their eyes and imagine their life 6 months from now, they're at the same weight. A year from now, they're at the same weight, 5 years, 10 years, and having them hold that discomfort and then having them make a decision on what's going to happen. So wanted to pass that on because it's really helped me in my own coaching this week. But related to energy, because most of the weekend with Tony was spent around energy, I would love to just ask you to rank your own energy right now, 1 to 10. Just put it down on a piece of paper. How do you feel right now, 1 to 10? So write that down, energy and then a number. And then I want you to rank your joy at a number 1 to 10. How joyful do you feel in this moment? And Vicky, you're looking at me. I hope you're writing your number down. And then gratitude. You got it, girl. Gratitude. How grateful do you feel 1 to 10? Okay. And now I just want you, I hope I have enough trust in you that you'll do this with me. But I want you to take the next 60 seconds and I'm going to play some music and I'm going to challenge you just to go all out and dance it out, feel it, have a moment of gratitude, do everything you can to just have some fun in the next, it's going to be 1 minute, but let's see how much fun we can have in the next minute. Are y'all down for it?
So it's
Are
a
you down?
dance party? Are we
Dance
dancing?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Seriously, let's see how good you can feel. So 60 seconds, just have fun.
Hey, hey, hey. Good to see you. Come on in, let's go. Yeah! Let's go! All right, okay. All right, okay. Return to the Mac. Get up what it is, what it does, what it is, what it isn't. Looking for a better way to get up out of bed instead of getting on the internet and checking a new hit. Me get up. First shot, hip strut walking. A little bit of humble, a little bit of cautious. Somewhere between like Rocky and Cosby's for the game. Nope, y'all can't copy yet. Glad moonwalking, and this here is our party. My posse's been on Broadway, and we did it all way. Chrome music. I shed my skin and put my bones into everything I record to it. And yeah, I'm on. Let that stage light go and shine on down. Got that Bob Barker suit game and Plinko in my style. Money, stay on my craft and stick around for those pounds. But I do that to pass the torch and put on for my town. Trust me, on my INDEPENDENT shit.
Woo! All right, now with your voice off, everybody's out of breath. I want you to take a big ol' yell. Just yell whatever sound is joyful for you on 3. And I'm going to turn down my butt. Woo, I'm out of breath. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Woo! I hope y'all did it. I couldn't hear you. And now what I want to challenge you to do is go back to your piece of paper. Woo, try not to be out of breath. And on a scale from 1 to 10, how joyful do you feel right now? One to 10, how grateful do you feel right now? And I'd love to hear if anybody has any thoughts about how different you felt, or if you feel the same, love to hear that too. Would anybody share with us how their energy shifted?
I will, because I was like, it's been a crazy kind of morning. And my word was like, that when showing up here was distractions. Like you have action and reaction, I have distractions. And my energy was very, very low. And my joy was even less. And I had zero gratitude. And in that moment when I could get up without hesitation and dance for a minute and have fun and then yell with joy, it like went all the way to the top. Nothing got in my way of enjoying that moment. No distraction.
I love that, Connie. That's awesome. Anybody else?
I'll go with energy. I just got back from vacation. Had a wonderful time. I relaxed and I was having a really hard time getting back in the groove. So my energy before was a 4. And now after that awesome dance party, I'm a 10. So thank you.
That's awesome. So 1 minute is all it took to get your energy from a 4 to a 10. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm on these client calls and my energy is like at a 3 or a 2 or, you know, so the challenge for myself is, hey, how can I operate at peak performance? Because my clients, they deserve my peak performance, you know? So how can I call that out? It doesn't take a lot of time. The other tool I'd love to give you is called a priming exercise. It is something that Tony does every morning. And there's a YouTube video I'll share with you, but he does a little bit of breath work. So he breathes and then he centers himself on things that he's grateful for. He feels for about 30 seconds a moment that he is deeply grateful for. And it doesn't have to be a big moment. It can be a little moment, but he has 3 separate things. And then he goes through 3 goals and he envisions that goal happening. So for some of us, that goal is going to be getting a new client or starting a new coach or getting to ED or whatever it is that our goal is. But it's a powerful way to start your day off with gratitude, with joy, with energy, and with direction. So I'll pass that on, but I just am so convinced right now that the quality of our lives are really the quality of our emotions. And so I know I've got some work to do in managing my emotions so that they don't manage me. So I just wanted to share that.
So Meg, what was the quote you said at the very beginning? You won't do what you should do.
Yeah, people won't do what they should do. People will do what they must do. And then the other thing that he shared that I thought was brilliant was he said, when a negative thing sends you in a spiral, train yourself to manage your energy and celebrate that thing. So the easiest thing I can think of is when we get the cancellation email and we spiral, right? It's like, oh, they gave up. What's happened in my front line? I freak out, right? Maybe it's just me, but what he would challenge all of us to do is when that really negative thing, whenever our nervous systems go down that spiral, it ruins our energy, right? And it creates such a negative chasm in our brains. So what he would say is celebrate that. So a client cancels, yes, I got room in my calendar for the next person, and even laugh. By laughing and by celebrating, by clapping, by yelling, by screaming, you can trick your nervous system instead of going into the doom and gloom to be like, okay, I need to be at peak performance because I need to be here for who's next. So that was just a huge thing.
I wanted to ask you something, Meg, because I love people don't do what they want, they do what they must do. And that pain and tomorrow always reminds me, I had a client call today and I always look at it as like the rear view mirror. Like if you fall off on the weekends all the time and Monday comes along, what is it going to feel like if you actually were on plan all weekend? And what is it going to feel like if you do what you typically do, like kind of like beating yourself up. So yeah, I can't say, it's that whole pattern of what would it feel like to actually be 2 pounds down and sail through the weekend and be like, yeah, I can do that. Right. But like the client I had today, and I think that we all experience this, people ready to go, they're ready to go. The structural tension's there, they do great. And then they sort of get in the ish. And then I don't know why I can't stay on plan. I don't know what's wrong with me. I mean, I hear that all the time. I just need to buckle down. I just need to get my brain right. I just need to, all the things they're saying, but and I know we try to dig into, has your why changed? Is what you want is still what you want? Like in this example, he's like, well, I didn't want my pants to hurt me and I wanted to be like down. He's type 1 diabetic, right? So he's down, which is why he's fudging around, right? But the bottom line is his A1C is still 8 point something, right? He's got 2 little girls. So we kind of dug into his reasons and I sent him the old video we had that Ciata had done about like rebooting your why. But I'm wondering like what you were doing with your clients. Like I'm always trying to figure out like the people that are just struggling, like how I might use what you're just talking about to solidify or have the aha moment, because we know that willpower is not going to get you through this, right? Mm-hmm. They have to, like you said, the pain point and doing what you must do is going to be the driver of getting to where they want to go, right? I mean, that's what we're talking about. But I guess I'm curious about what words or how are you maybe showing up differently to actually coach those clients than, well, is your why still the same? And do you still want what you wanted? And, trying to get them back in that space.
I have a response as well after Meg goes before we wrap up.
So what Tony would say was they've lost their motivation. So they need to go in, he would say, put the cook in the kitchen, have them remember and fully associate to a time when they felt motivated. elicit the specific, precise triggers that are necessary for feeling motivated. So, and those are visual triggers, auditory triggers, kinesthetic triggers. And then he gave us questions we can ask them, and then have them, so we're basically training them to trigger themselves, right? And to use that strategy anytime they want to go off plan on the weekends, because it's one decision 15 or 20 times throughout a Saturday to keep them on plan, right? It's the same decision. They have to visualize that motivation, what we're trying to get them to do, just one time, break that pattern of behavior. They're just stuck in a pattern of behavior. And unless they do something, that pattern of behavior will continue.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, a couple things were reminded, I was reminded of this weekend that I'd kind of forgotten about, and it actually popped in my head when Debbie even brought up the first question about like, I'm doing the things or whatever. But this whole thing about the head and the heart is really important, right? We've covered that. But also like remembering that, like when we're talking about our own frustrations, our own energy, like our reality is not the reality. It is just our perception of what is going on. So the fact you guys are here, the fact that you're learning, you're doing things, right, shows that you're in a very different percentage of the population, right? That you're looking to be able to navigate your own energy better and then be able to teach others the same. So the three questions Dr. A came back to, and they're so applicable to everything, whether you had a negative interaction with somebody, or it could be a spouse or something like that, or these kind of situations. But what happened, or what's happening, right? So I'm doing all the things, but, or I've got all this food, but I can't stick to plan, right? Whatever it might be. So what's happening? Second one is what's missing. What's missing? And then the third one is, or what was missing. And then the third one is what's next. Because what you talked about, and this was interesting, it showed up in my Matthew Kelly devotional, that the most important things in life are usually not urgent, right? So we become your clients that can't stick to plan, they're falling victim to the urgency, right? The urgency and they're reacting, right? And what we're learning to do is how to respond. But your health and things like that, it doesn't seem urgent in the moment, but it truly is up there in the highest priorities, right? Your relationship with your spouse or your kids, right, might be the most important thing for you, but yet you're not spending time with them, right? Because you're caught up in the urgent of work. So it really, at all of that, like you were saying, Vicki, it's coming back to the center of what's missing. I've lost sight or whatever of what it is that is really important to me that I want. So I hope that helps. But just write that down even for yourself, those three questions, because I just forgot about them and I've been using them this week and I'm like, it applies to everything.
That's really good. When I
Well,
think of
go ahead, Meg.
when I was just going to make an announcement. When I think about what's next, I wanted to just shout out, next Thursday at this time, we're going to do a client call. We're going to do a client lunch and learn on how to navigate around spring break. So wanted to go ahead and make that announcement because y'all are the people that will probably be here next Thursday. So I encourage you to invite your clients to come and talk through some strategies for spring break.
When you advertise it, will you also include summer break? Because some of us are done with spring break already in Florida.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great idea. And if you've got clients that you think of like come off spring break or something, Jennifer, like somebody who nailed it, or maybe they didn't do perfect, but they did so much better or whatever. We're looking for we'd love some clients to speak on the call. So feed Meg or I that information.
Sure. Thank you.
Please. All right. Okay. Well, very good. Well, great to see you guys. And we'll see you in the Facebook group, and we'll see you next week on Team Time and then Time for You. All right. See you later.
Thanks.
Bye.